And thanks, Bram, for actually having a great introduction to my story. Before I start, I would like to know actually who is who is the designer or at least making things right now. So it's actually not that. Yeah, so let's say half or not even. Yeah. Okay, that's quite interesting, I think. Actually, now it's December, so another year is gone. And yesterday, Raimo asked me to, tell a story about a project I've done this year. And looking back at this year, I think it's nice to share a bit of my experiences and maybe have something to share which we all can use for coming year. My name is Seroj. I have a product design studio. I design and make products, and just like Bram said, for me as well, it's pretty normal to design by creating things. It's a sort of trial and error process where you by the properties of the materials and the technologies, the techniques you use and combine, you find out what works and what's not working well. And by this you also know if it's possible to produce in small or large numbers. Therefore, I also really like to go to big companies that make things. For me, it makes it touchable, understandable what's needed to have an existing product. And I'm also, as you can see, often involved in making prototypes or first mock-ups and test models. Which interesting thing is that this is together with a company that builds CNC tooling and gluing, milling and cutting machines. So here we are building up first sort of walls out of EPS foam, cut it in 3D. And by actually being busy with that, I got the idea of making boats out of it, which is a sort of ongoing project for the last 5 years in between projects. I live in Amsterdam, and when I go around with my boat to relax a bit, I'm always amazed with the houses. And while being busy also with the foam cutting and having the idea of maybe 3D cutting shapes inspired by the houses to make a sort of 3D wall panels, acoustic panels. I also got in touch with a company that was 3D printing wax, and by this we can reproduce models in silver. So I ended up with a little version of the Herengracht in a circle. And I thought it would be nice to make a pair of cufflinks out of it, because I never seen actually a pair of cufflinks that I like to wear. And I put them on the website, and suddenly I got this phone call from a lawyer office who were based on the Herengracht, asking me like, yeah, can we buy them? Sure, but of course I not really had a plan yet. But yeah, before I thought about it, I said, yeah, sure, you can order them, but they're not available yet. But actually I need 50 pair to do the further developments and the startup of the production. So if you buy one pair, you get a certificate, so at least you can give this to your boss for his birthday. And later on, he's invited to come and to pick up his pair of cufflinks. The first 50 will be numbered and signed by me. So I thought like, okay, now I still need to sell lots of cufflinks before I can get started. But luckily, by sharing my passion on not even on Kickstarter or whatever, I just posted it on Facebook. I posted this photo telling like, we still need to sell some, but who is interested, please buy a pair of cufflinks. By this you can make it possible that we all have these nice cufflinks. So within a week, I sold 50 pair, so it generated about 8,000 euros. And the funny thing was actually that this this action did not only give me the money and the opportunity to to do the design, but something much more interesting. At the end, turned out that not even half of all the 50 people that contacted me were direct friends on Facebook. People started sharing and sharing, and at the end, I had to send 5 pair to New York, 2 pair to London, a pair to Stockholm. And while making and doing the development of the cufflinks and packing them and being busy with it, I got phone calls from the people that got every time this update that I sent by email, and they were getting more and more involved in it and enthusiastic. The funny thing was that they really felt like it was their project, and for me it felt actually like this as well. While normally you're always the designer, you have to come up with the ideas, and and this was really a nice process where you were back and forth, being energized by all the nice feedback you got. And they suggested that somebody called me who has his office here at the Herengracht. It's Jan Six from the famous Six family. He said, why do we not arrange a nice evening where we have all the people coming over, and so everybody can get their pair of cufflinks handed out. This was a great network event, and actually by this network, I even had the opportunity to hand out the first pair to the mayor of Amsterdam, who is now using them, who is wearing them, but also use the cufflinks as a gift when they are on business trips abroad. So then I got a phone call from Quote Media. They wanted to interview me because also via their network they noticed that some of their friends were walking around with these cufflinks. And but then of course I already had this feeling like, okay, so maybe I got more phone calls and more people asking for it, and I'm not going to make more certificates again and get myself into trouble being busy with the production. But to have a proper production started of maybe 200 pairs, it easily costs like 15,000 euros on silver and packaging, etc. So I was thinking like, okay, how should I handle this? And then I thought like, okay, well, in the first place, they generate the network. Why not find the solution in it? So I sent an email to all 50, telling them like, okay, well, I want to start a real production right now. So wouldn't it be interesting to earn back your cufflinks? And, by giving me money for the budget, and you get 10%. And so if you give me at least 12.50, you get back your pair of cufflinks you bought in the first place. And within a week, I had about 15,000 euros. And it was going pretty quick. So designing new structures is not, this year for me, it was not purely design as I used to do for already 7 years. Suddenly I experienced it myself. Like Bram also told, as a designer, maybe you're always on your island and thinking that you have to do everything yourself, and maybe you recognize it while not being a designer, that we often are always focused on being what we're good at. And I always like the quote of Richard Buckminster Fuller. He's already telling what... that you really have to get things together and combine it. But I think, designers, but also we all are in a sort of stage that, we get from this one-man show that into a process together. And a designer's role in it should be more facilitating, bringing all the aspects together and making things happen. And luckily these days there are enough examples and even business management structures to make this happen. I think it's at the end, it's all about contribution. And by this you get involved, you get enthusiastic, you get back what you give, or you get even more back. And people really got involved in it and do things together, which bring it to a level you will never achieve yourself, or you cannot even imagine yourself. So get off your island and get involved, because we're not on the island, we're in Amsterdam. And, you know, I think we all are creative enough to you know, make the step and think what we can do besides the things we used to do, or we are used to do daily. And it doesn't take that much effort. The only thing is maybe to be, you know, to dare to fail and to try. And that's what I like about making, you know. When you make something, it often fails. And it's pretty confronting, but at the same time, it's really honest as well. And this process, I think, is really useful, and is really the key into what we do and what we have to do to make, you know, products better, but also to you know, not only design the product, but also in the process. While designing, you can already think about your sales model, your distribution model. You can even involve the people in it by have an open source process. Unless it's open, I think it will work. And it's not only your mind, but inside your mind, of course, there are the ideas. And as long as you don't share it, it will never land, and it will never go into the next development. And so share and make things, which is even better because it's easier to share, like the movie you showed. So I think we will make it.
Thanks, Roy.